This podcast contains explicit language and content and is for mature audiences only.
Hey, you teenagers out there. If you're under 18, this show is more for your parents. So now that you have that mental picture stuck in your head, put some music on and get back to doing your homework.
We are a longtime married couple who's decided to chronicle our personal adventures and share our sex-positive discussions as we navigate our way through the swinging lifestyle.
Care to join us?
Hello everyone, I'm Mr. Jones.
And I'm Mrs. Jones, and we want to welcome you to episode 25 of the We Got a Thing podcast.
Hot days and naughty nights.
Yes.
In Naught.
In Naught.
We barely survived.
Yeah.
And we lived to podcast about it.
Yeah, we're 3 days post Narlands, and I think we finally caught up on our sleep, maybe?
Maybe.
Well, not only did we not get any sleep from like Tuesday through Saturday nights, then when we flew home on Sunday, we had issues.
Yeah, our flight was changed without our knowledge, and we didn't get home till 2 o'clock in the morning on Monday.
Yeah, Mr. Jones got up at 4:30.
No, I slept until 5:30.
Oh, wow. You got 3 hours sleep. Good for you.
3 hours of sleep. Yeah.
Well, that's not atypical compared to the previous few nights. So.
No, but I was living on the memories.
Yes, we have some memories, don't we, baby?
We do.
So in order to prepare for this evening, what did I make you to drink, Mr. Jones?
You made me a Sazerac.
I did, and it's authentic. I actually went out and I found a New Orleans website that talked about the history of the Roosevelt Hotel that has a Sazerac bar in it where the drink was invented.
Yes.
So I made you the authentic Sazerac.
Well, thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
You're really into the whole theme tonight, aren't you?
Yeah. And in honor of Narlands, I don't have a bra on.
I noticed that at dinner time.
Yeah, you did.
I thought that was a new top.
Oh, well, no.
But I only notice your tops when I see nipples.
Oh.
So I had never seen that one before.
Well, I guess maybe I had worn it with a bra before, so then it was just like every other top.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. They're all the same if you have a bra on.
There were no bras in Narlands.
No, there were very few shirts or tops in New Orleans.
That's true. Yeah, clothes were at a minimum. When we say hot days, that's definitely double entendre. It was hot.
And you know when the ladies are talking about putting deodorant under your boobs, it's hot.
Yes.
Oh, Angie was having that conversation with us.
Yeah, that's actually pretty genius.
Yeah.
She's telling me that as I didn't do that, and there was just it's sweat just pouring down my belly.
Wow.
It was so hot.
Yeah, we'll talk more about her later.
Yes, we will.
So let's do some keeping up with the Joneses first before we get into that.
Yes, because life did exist before Narlands.
Right.
So
we're still working on the website. No new news there. You keep dragging me all around to these parties, and I don't have time to get a lot of work done.
I know. Oh, no, you're making progress.
Yeah, we're making progress. We're still. I showed it to a few people in New Orleans and got some feedback and some ideas, so that's cool.
Yep.
And we had friends over.
Yes, we did.
And we talked about them last podcast, didn't we?
Well, I think we said that, we had gone out to dinner with them. We're talking about that couple next door.
Yes.
So
J and K,
that couple next door podcast. If you haven't given it a listen yet, please do so. They are hilarious.
Yep. We had them down for dinner, and we had drinks, and we had fun getting to know them. And we saw them in New Orleans too.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
But back to the whole having them down for dinner.
Yep.
So we're getting ready, and they had about a half an hour drive or so to get here. So they texted us and said we're on our way. Well, then they posted on Twitter that they were going down to have dinner with We Got a Thing, right?
Yeah.
And I think they took a screenshot. I think they were playing our podcast.
Yes.
And so anyway, you could see our logo as they were in the car driving down. So then Mr. Jones, and again, this is not going to make sense to you if you haven't listened to them. So shame on you. You need to give them a listen.
Yeah.
But Kay has a reputation for maybe overindulging a little bit. And there was one time, I'm going to give you a little spoiler alert here. There was one time when she needed a bucket.
There's 2 times, actually.
Oh, 2 times. Oops.
But we've helped her. She's beyond that now.
So, yes, she overindulged and she needed to borrow a bucket to get home in the
I
car.
posted a picture of a bucket with a bottle of wine and a bottle of water next to it and said we were ready for them. But I'm going to stop teasing her about that because
she was a champ in New
She's
Orleans.
been on a roll.
Yes, everything was fine. I think they had a good time. I know we had fun hanging out with them a little bit. So
yeah, it was a lot of fun. Nice having podcasters so close by.
I know.
And then the last thing that we want to talk about before we get into the big event is the lifestyle awards.
Right.
We had mentioned last month that you could go on and vote, and we were one of, gosh, I don't know, about 12 or 15 podcasts, lifestyle podcasts that were on the ballot.
Probably more than that. Yeah.
And they choose the top 3 for finalists, and then they do an award ceremony in Naught, New Orleans. And we got down there and checked in, and I had just forgotten all about it. And then Michael from you and I were sitting in the lobby talking to some friends.
Right.
And Michael from Playboy Radio texted me, and he said, "Hey, congratulations on being a finalist." And I said, "What?" I said, "How did you know? Is this like inside information?" And he said, "Open your program." So we opened the program, and there it was. I hadn't even looked because it just never crossed my mind that we would be in the top 3. But we just want to say thank you.
Yes.
Because
we were completely blown away. We weren't even thinking about it.
Yeah. To be recognized by you all was really meaningful. That there are a lot of good quality podcasts out there, and to make the top 3, and we were in company. Michael and Holly from Playboy Radio are the ones that won,
right?
And then Life on the Swing Set was one of the other finalists, and then We Got a Thing. So we felt like we were in pretty good company.
Yeah,
there in the top, and
yeah.
We were really humbled by the whole thing, but just wanted to take a minute before we get into Naught in New Orleans just to say, wow.
I know. And you know what I really appreciated about that? We've met Michael and Holly from Playboy Swing and Playboy Radio a couple of years ago, our first time when we were in New Orleans.
Before we had a podcast.
Right, before, when we were just kind of thinking about it, and they invited us to sit in and they interviewed us on their radio show. It was live from New Orleans a couple of years ago. So we've kind of run into them a few times here and there and corresponded with them a few times. But when Michael and Holly won, when they accepted their award, they asked us to stand up and they recognized us and said that they were just really proud of how far we had come in 2 years. And that was so meaningful that he did that.
Just to really...
Very much appreciated.
Yeah. It was a lot of
good
fun.
Good people.
And the other thing about the award ceremony, it's really the award ceremony is to celebrate the industry. And so you have presenters and you have award winners and you have the MCs. And of course you have Bob and Tess who hosted the whole weekend, but mostly everybody there is in the industry. So, it's almost an acknowledgement, and people talk about their business and what they do and things like that. But we were sitting there, and when they announced our names, we got the biggest cheer out of anybody the whole night.
Yeah, that was pretty exciting.
Because Al and Ellie were there with us.
Yep.
C and D from Swinging Down Under.
Yep. Jay and Angie from Average Swingers.
Jay and Angie were there. There were just we had a whole lot of support.
And then a couple couples were there that we had met at our meet and greet that listened to our podcast.
Yeah. So I think you all really took the room by surprise, because when they announced us and everybody cheered, it was really heartfelt. And after that, it didn't matter that we didn't win. It was just nice to be recognized. And
that the other podcasters took time to come to the award ceremony, because it was Friday night at, like 8:30.
Yeah.
There was dancing upstairs going on and everything. But that's what, and we're going to talk about this probably a lot tonight as we get into, the whole New Orleans experience, but the podcast community is amazing.
Yes.
Yep.
So we just wanted to say thank you to all of you who voted for us and all the kind feedback that we've gotten. And it really did make our weekend to walk around with our heads in the clouds a little bit that our names were in the program. So thanks
2 years ago, we were scared to death.
Yeah. So before we break, a little bit about tonight's podcast is you're not going to get a lot of lessons learned tonight. There's not a lot of analysis going on here. We're just going to talk about the weekend and all the sexy fun that we had.
Yes.
So don't expect a revelation at the end of this. Though we do have a couple of takeaways.
We definitely have some takeaways to share. I mean, we kind of approach things differently, and we're going to kind of talk about that and point it out as we get to those types of experiences.
Yeah. So when we come back, put on your seatbelts because, man, that place was rocking.
It sure was.
All right. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to segment 2 of our podcast. Tonight we're going to talk about the hot days and naughty nights in New Orleans.
And very little sleep.
And very little sleep.
Yeah.
And a few 5-hour energies.
Yes. We went, and I don't know, I thought it was going to be better that we went a day early this year, but I think it might have been worse.
Yeah.
Because we just, instead of using that extra day, we just partied an extra day.
Right. Well, I mean, the first day was pretty tame. I mean, what time did we get there? I think we actually made it into the hotel around 2 or 3.
2:30, yeah.
Yeah.
On Tuesday afternoon. And the conference the parade is on Wednesday night. The official conference doesn't start until Thursday morning, but most people get there on Wednesday. The first meet and greet is Wednesday afternoon.
Right.
But anyway, we got there on Tuesday. Because it was the 4th of July week and there was no sense in having a Monday holiday and then working Tuesday and then taking off Wednesday in my mind.
That's true.
It just made sense. So we went down on Tuesday, and another good thing about going Tuesday is because we were having the meet and greet on Wednesday, it gave us an opportunity to go. We held our meet and greet at the House of Blues, and we were able to go over there and meet everyone and get the room situated.
And this House of Blues was amazing. I didn't realize that it's the original House of Blues. I know there's those House of Blues throughout the country. Different cities. I don't know where all they are, but I know there's one in Myrtle Beach because we've been to that one before.
Right.
When we go on vacation. But this was the original one, and it was really interesting the way it was laid out. It had like all types of different venues.
Yeah.
So they had reserved one of the venues for us called Big Mama's Lounge.
Yes. Yeah, we had our own room. And it was the perfect size. We ended up having about 75 people.
Yeah.
75 people.
Yeah, I think any more people in the room would have ended up being too small. And they said that it held 75.
Yeah.
So I think we had, 75 to 80.
Anyway, before we get to that, we were down on Tuesday to check that place out and make sure everything was a go.
Yep.
And then we met also who came in early.
Was C&D.
C&D from Swinging Down Under.
Yes.
So the first puzzle piece fell into place because there were several podcasters we had not yet met.
Right.
And C&D were one of them, and we were not disappointed.
No, we were not disappointed.
We had a lot of fun with them.
We did.
Yeah.
So this had been going on for like months, and Mr. Jones and I think it was C.
Yeah.
You two.
Mostly.
Yeah, it was mostly C. I think you guys were corresponding by Twitter, right? You were doing direct messaging, and finally she said, well, I think the 4 of us should set up a cheeky date so that we don't, miss an opportunity to get down and to be able to get and sit down together.
And when she said cheeky, I went to my Australian slang book to see if that meant what I was hoping that it would mean. But anyway, we met with them and we went out to dinner. And we ended up going to the House of Blues.
Yeah, we did. We did. Because we were going to go to another place, and I guess it was closed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had closed. So we had a great evening with them. They're just a really fun couple.
I laughed the whole time. I mean, they're funny on their podcast, but in person, oh my gosh, there's like no filter.
Yeah, he's a bit of a clown.
Oh my, in a really good way.
in a good way. Yes, a good way. Not in a dorky way, in a good way.
Oh my gosh, we had fun. Just immediately hit it off.
Yeah. So we went to dinner with them, and then we came back and chatted with them for a while, and then we went down to the hotel lobby because their friends were in town, and we got to meet Baby Doll and the Law.
Yes, we did.
And they are club owners from Australia, and they have a club called Our Secret Spot, and they are friends with C&D. So we went down and met them, and they had been like traveling for
over 24 hours
straight, and then they went right into partying.
Yeah. So I don't know how they did that.
Well, they're a lot younger than we are.
That's true.
So we got to meet them, and then we ran into some people in the lobby that we had met the year before, or 2 years before.
Yeah.
And some of our good friends, we were able to catch up with them. So the first night was a lot of fun. We didn't stay up. Oh yeah, Jay and Angie were there early too.
Jay and Angie were there, and then
so we got to catch up with them.
Our friends that we met the first year.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just probably a dozen people just standing around talking in the lobby on Tuesday night.
Yeah. So
I think we went to bed at like 12:30.
Yeah.
That was pretty reasonable.
Yeah, the first night wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then came the second night.
Yeah.
So then Wednesday, it was funny. We got up, we came downstairs, and the elevator doors opened, and we walked out, and we walked literally right into some friends from California that we had met at Desire a year ago, and they had taken a red eye. And we bumped right into them, and
it was weird. I mean, we were getting off the elevator to go to breakfast, and they had their bags and they were going up to the room.
Yeah.
So
they put their bags away, and they didn't want to lay down because they had slept on the plane. So they just turned around and went right back out to Cafe Beignet with us.
Oh, we had so much fun. I mean, how many hours did we talk? Gosh, it must have been like
time.
4 hours.
Yeah. Well, we were supposed to have seen them at a George event, and then we ended up not going, and we've been messaging back and forth with them. So this kind of thing happened all weekend. We kept running into people that we've known, and that's the good thing about it being the third time, is we're starting to recognize people.
Yeah, so there's still like 1,600 people there, but at least a handful of them.
Right. Then the official party began at 2 p.m, where you ladies went to a Girls Uncorked.
At a wine bar. Yep.
Cassidy sponsored a Girls Uncorked at a wine bar, and I think it was our friend from California, Jay, and myself, and Dee from Swinging Down Under. They had a guys meet and greet. Well, it wasn't a meet and greet. We just went to a bar and drank.
You were hanging out because all your wives were busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we all went to a bar, and then we came back at 3 to Barveen, where they had the first happy hour or bar takeover.
And I'm not going to lie, it was kind of nice when you guys weren't there, because we ended up standing in the wine bar itself is kind of small, and then they have a big courtyard outside, but it was hot, and the wine bar had really nice air conditioning. So I was with I think I was with Angie from Average Swingers, mm-hmm. and our friend from California that mm-hmm. we ran into. I ran into Baby Doll from Australia, Our Secret Spot, and I think C from Swinging Down Under. And then there were other people that would kind of float in and out, but the four of us were kind of pretty much stuck together. And we were standing right in front of the men's room. Well, when it was just ladies, the ladies were using the men's room. Mm-hmm. So we got to meet everybody as they would come and go to the bathroom. But then when you guys came, then it was a little awkward. And
well, I was a little disappointed with that, because the courtyard, last year they had people with bar stations out there serving wine.
I know.
But this year the bar was the only thing open. It was just too jam-packed.
It was way too jam-packed. And, a little something, speaking of the men's room and me standing in front of the men's room, there's a little something that happened that I haven't shared with you yet.
Oh, yeah?
Jay picked me up and drugged me into the men's room.
What was he doing there?
It was when y'all came.
Oh.
I don't know. I hadn't seen you yet.
He has a thing about men's rooms.
Does he?
Yeah. You need to go back through his Twitter feed. He takes a lot of pictures in the men's room.
Well, luckily there was nobody in there. So when he drugged me in there, it was just he and I.
That's the end of the story?
Well, not a lot happened in there.
Well, it's not a very romantic setting.
No, it wasn't a very romantic setting, but it was funny as heck.
Yeah, that sounds like Jay.
Yes.
And we had arranged to meet TNA from the Curious Couple there.
Yes, because they had just flown into town right about mid-afternoon.
Yeah, and there was just a sea of people in there. So when we finally connected with TNA, the four of us decided to go on down to House of Blues because that's where the meet and greet was going to be. And the four of us got drinks there.
And we were so excited to meet them.
Yeah.
We had been texting with them for a couple weeks, and when we would text, it'd be like for an hour straight because we had so much to say, and we kept saying, "I can't wait till we can actually talk to each other instead of have to text."
I know. I don't know who was more like fanned out. We were awestruck by them, and then they were doing the same thing.
I
with
know.
us.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, because we really admire them as a couple, and we admire their podcast. And we had been waiting a lot. We were hoping that they would go last year, but they didn't.
Yeah.
But anyway,
it was worth the wait.
Yes, we were not disappointed. The four of us really, really had a good time together. We really connected, and we're going to announce some things that we're going to do in the future.
Yes.
We'll keep it a little bit undercover right now, but we're going to do some collaboration with them.
Yep, for sure.
So we had drinks with them, and then one of the bright spots of the weekend was our meet and greet. And
yeah.
For those of you who attended, and I'm not even going to start mentioning where people's screen names are, we were overwhelmed. I mean, there was at least 70 or 75 people. It was very special because we got to announce to everybody that we were in the top 3, and everybody was really excited about that. And the bar was open, and, we just met. It was, we talk into these microphones, and not that you're very beautiful and I like looking at you, but we never get to see our listeners.
No,
we
they're
never
invisible.
The emails are great. That ties us over, but to put skin, it was, I just felt like
I got to hug everybody.
Yeah.
And, it was just so much fun.
And work in the room, and we made sure that we talked to everybody. And so for everybody to take, so many people to take that much time out of their trip and come to meet us, it was really special.
It was.
We talked to several of the couples all throughout the weekend. We didn't have a lot of time that night, but we are definitely going to do that again.
Oh yeah.
Next year.
Yeah. And I mean, if you came up and talked to us, that's awesome. And, sometimes you would say, I don't want to be a stalker, but we just wanted to, tell you something or ask you a question. You guys, that was like the highlight.
Yes.
Having y'all come and talk to us, that was not an imposition at all. I mean,
no.
That was like a bonus. So if you wanted to talk to us and you didn't, there's always next year.
Yeah. And email. And there were so many people
so much fun.
That I got to talk to a little bit, and I wanted to go back and talk more and get their stories.
Because we would hear a little bit of a story, but not the whole in-depth version. And
right.
Yeah. And may I just say that we have some very sexy listeners.
Yes, we do. Damn, we do.
Yeah, I know. That was a good looking room.
I know. I think we're going to have to leverage this podcast for other things now.
Really?
Yeah. But anyway, a lot of fun. That was definitely a highlight for me. And then after that, we went back. Oh, so we have two really friends. We have two really good friends.
Yes.
A and K from the area, and they helped set up our meet and greet. And it had been a year since we had seen them, and we were really looking forward to spending time with them. So the four of us went to dinner. We went to a brewery right down Decatur Street and had dinner, and then came back to the hotel and played.
I didn't know where you were going with that, Mr. Jones.
Well, I thought I was going to have to tell this whole story myself.
No.
We'd been waiting a long time.
Yes, we had. For
this, because she was one of my Snapshots a year ago.
Yes.
And
we played with them at Colette last year.
Yeah. And I was ready for round 2.
Yeah. I think we had all been ready for round 2. We Skyped with them, like 2 months ago or something?
Yes.
Yeah. And
then we were texting back and forth, and they're just a great
quality
couple.
Easygoing, easy to be with couple.
And they've been there.
Gorgeous. Oh yeah, gorgeous. Don't forget that part. Ooh.
Yeah. So anyway, after dinner, we came back to the hotel because Colette. No, we didn't go to Colette. We went to Colette last year. We came back to the hotel and snuck them up to our room.
Yeah.
And did we play the dumb card game?
Didn't need to.
Oh yeah, we didn't have to.
Yeah, we had been waiting a year. We had things to get. Yeah, we just needed to get down to business.
Yeah, so we did a So I forget, we mentioned something about a 6-handed massage, and the next thing I know, she had her clothes off.
Yep, and she was laying on the foot of the bed.
And for a minute there, she kept her panties and bra on, but that didn't last very long.
Well, I took the bra off right away. I'm like, no, honey. This is going to just get messy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think we let her keep her panties on for a little while, but they weren't really like protecting her much. I was, I was a bad girl.
Yeah. You were in the prime location.
But you know what we need to do is make a note to take some massage oil with us next year.
Yeah, we had to use the lotion.
From the hotel.
Yeah, it didn't matter to me.
It worked in a pinch, but no, like take our coconut oil next year.
Yeah.
That with the card game.
Yeah, no, I didn't think about that. Yeah. So that was a hot session. We did some soft swap, and she did her hair tie move for me.
Oh, she did.
She's got this long, gorgeous hair, and she made a point to, I love it when puts her hair up, and she did that for me.
Yeah, she has beautiful, silky, long brown hair.
Yep.
Yeah, she has beautiful everything.
Yep. And you were right out of the gate. You had, I don't know how many orgasms you had when he was down on you.
Yeah, I was trying to be good, and well, no, I wasn't. Okay, so like I was trying to make it last because I didn't want him to stop.
Oh.
But then once I had the first one, then I just lost the ability to time things. Well, it just was what it was.
I don't think he stopped with one.
No, he didn't.
So your fears were unfounded.
I know.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, so like, you know, I'm always the one with the self-control, right? And there's,
What do you mean?
Well, like when we always have the talk with the couple beforehand, and we know them quite well, so we know what their play style is and where their boundaries are. And, you know, we talk just a little bit beforehand, and yep, we're all still on the same page. We're good to go. And I didn't say anything while we were playing, but after we were done and we were just kind of all laying around, I actually said that I had these naughty thoughts going through my head that I really kind of wished I could have talked them into full swap that night.
Oh, did you say that?
I did say that to him. Didn't you hear that?
You're a bad girl, Mrs. Jones.
I said it to everybody. You must not have had any blood in your head yet.
No.
I did. I confessed.
Did you?
But I waited. We were done.
Okay.
So, but that's all I could think about. It was just like, I was just so ramped up. I think I was excited because we were in New Orleans and we had looked forward to seeing them so much. And it was just like the whole environment. And it's so much fun playing with a couple that you know so well. You know, you don't have all that anxiety of trying to figure out what they like or don't like.
I have to admit that thought never crossed my mind. Not because I wouldn't have wanted to.
You're a good boy.
Well, I mean, I just knew what the boundaries were.
Well, I knew what they were too. That's why I didn't say anything until afterwards.
You're naughty.
I am.
You're a bad podcaster. You're setting a bad example.
I waited until after.
Okay. Well, you guys can take that as a compliment, I think. What is that you're drinking anyway?
Mango martini.
Oh. Is it good?
It's delicious.
Okay. Anyway, so that was Wednesday.
There's all kinds of little tidbits I haven't shared with you yet that are just kind of coming back. Well, I mean, Jay drugged me in the bathroom. I wanted to full swap with our soft swap friends, but I was good and didn't do anything inappropriate.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything inappropriate. That's ridiculous.
Well, you didn't break
I didn't break the rules.
Yeah.
Right.
You just thought about it.
Yes.
Which is okay.
Yes.
That's healthy.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It means you want to be with them again.
I do.
Okay. And that was just day one.
Yeah.
It was off to a good start.
It was off to a great start.
And we had a little bit of a different approach this year. The past 2 years we've met couples each year and pretty much primarily spent time with those couples during the week. This year we wanted to challenge ourselves and do something a little bit different because we knew that we wanted to see them and we knew that we were going to meet a lot of listeners and we just wanted to
we had a lot of old friends to connect with.
Yeah, we had a lot of old friends that we hadn't seen in a while that we were going to see. So we just wanted to go down there and take a day at a time and make no commitments. It was like you wake up the next day and you have a clean slate, and whatever happens, happens.
And I'm a planner.
Yeah.
So that was really out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
So, but it worked well. I mean, we ended up having a really good time, but that was not, to be intentional about that was really out of my comfort zone.
Well, and let's face it, when you do the math, there were more people that we wanted to play with than we had days to play.
I know.
So we knew that we were hoping that we wouldn't hurt anybody's feelings, because there were a lot of people there that we really wanted to connect with.
And I know some people play during the afternoon, but we were busy. I mean, we had commitments in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So that wasn't even really an option for us.
I think that would have just drained us more.
I know.
Yeah. So anyway,
one thing we did do a better job of is we slept in more this year.
Yeah, we did.
Because we're morning people, and normally it doesn't matter. We can stay up till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and still bounce right out of bed at 7.
Yeah.
And I think we were getting up at 8 and 9. And I think the last night, Sunday or Saturday morning, I don't think we got up until like almost 10.
Yeah, it was close to 10.
Yeah.
But that's okay. That's why we lasted as long as we did.
That's true.
So that was Wednesday. So Thursday morning, we got up and we went down to one of our favorite places for breakfast, the Ruby Slipper.
Yeah, if you guys go to New Orleans and you don't know of the Ruby Slipper, give it a try. When you go out of the main hotel doors, you just make a right and go down, about 2 blocks or so?
2 or 3 blocks.
Yeah, 2 or 3 blocks. And it's on Canal Street, and it is so good.
And I had a big old plate of protein and carbs.
You did. You like your breakfast.
Oh man, that was good. That's just what we needed. But we didn't have a lot of time, because we came back, and Thursday at noon, we did a workshop. We hosted a workshop.
Yes.
And we are going to be podcasting about the topic of this workshop.
In our next
probably
podcast.
Next month.
Yeah.
And we did a workshop titled Lifestyle Rules and Boundaries, When to Make Them and When to Break Them.
Right.
So we're not going to give a lot away, except to say that it was standing room only.
I know. It was really well attended.
Yeah. And we had a lot of fun.
And where was it? I mean, it was in one of the ballrooms on the second floor,
it was in the Astor 3 ballroom.
It was in the dungeon.
Or was it 2?
It was in one of the dungeon rooms.
Yeah.
And so Mr. Jones and I walk in, and they already had all the chairs set up for us and everything. We didn't need to do anything. We walk up to the front of the room. There's a St. Andrew's cross and a spanking bench.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, what kind of workshop do they think we're going to lead in here?
Yeah. But again, we had a lot of support. A lot of our listeners were there. Thank you. And a lot of podcasters were there. TNA were there. C&D, Al and Ellie.
Yeah.
I don't know if Jay and Angie were at that one, but very well attended.
Yes.
And we had a great dialogue. I mean, everybody was talking and participating. And
yeah, I was afraid it would be just you and I yapping, and it would be crickets in the audience.
Yeah.
But no, there was tons of participation.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. The hour was gone before we knew it.
I know.
So then after that workshop, we podcasted with Jay and Angie from Average Swingers. So you're going to have to catch. We had fun.
We did.
I think it was about maybe 20 minutes or 25 minutes we talked with them. And that interview is going to be, well, it really wasn't an interview.
No, the 4 of us just talked.
Well, we won't blow the topic, because there was something that Jay wanted to talk about that
you'll have to listen.
Yeah, that you'll have to listen to.
I think they interview quite a few podcasters, so I think they're going to do a compilation and put it all together. It should be hilarious.
Yeah, so check out Average Swingers, and you'll hear our 20 or 30 minute conversation with them. And then after that, we were on a panel, an Experienced Swingers.
Experienced Swingers 401 was the title of it.
And it was Michael and Holly from Playboy Radio, Jay and Angie, and Mr. and Mrs. Jones, right?
And another couple that don't have a podcast.
Yes, M and S.
Yes.
Yeah, they were there as experts as well.
Yes.
So there were 8 of us, and Jay was the moderator.
No, Michael was the moderator.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, Jay was the moderator the next day.
Right.
Yeah, Michael was the moderator. And we had a good time. Again, standing room only. Didn't have enough chairs. Had a great conversation.
And basically, Michael just opened up the floor and asked people to ask us questions.
Yeah.
And then any of us could just kind of dive in and answer. So, and again, the hour flew by. It was really fun.
Yeah. Well, when Michael's got the microphone in his hand, there's never going to be any dead space.
No, he does a really good job.
Yeah. But he's a great guy. So then that was another commitment that we had. And then after that, we finally got to go to a bar.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we went to Fat Cats.
Did some dancing. Yeah, I think there's a picture on Twitter of you dancing with Angie.
Oh, yeah. That was our first dance together.
That was your first dance, not your last.
No.
And Jay and Kay were there from That Couple Next Door.
Yeah.
And then I think a couple that are friends with Jay and Angie were there.
Yeah.
I think the 8 of us pretty much hung out.
Yeah.
That afternoon.
We hung out under the air conditioning vent.
Yes.
It was pretty hot there.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
I
just remember I got the biggest beer in the whole world. I don't know how many ounces that cup was, but it was so big I could barely hold it.
It was 22 ounces.
Yeah. I mean, that was a pretty big beer. Yep. Not bad.
You drank it?
I did drink it.
Yeah. Big girl. And then after that...
Oh, that was when... I know what happened there. So...
is this something else I don't know?
Oh, it's another bathroom story.
Oh, gosh. With Jay?
No. It was some random girl. So, of course, I drink a 22-ounce beer. You have to go to the bathroom. So I went to the ladies' room, and I went in the stall, and I shut the door. But it was these bars get some wear and tear, and it was a wooden door, and the little lock thing had... the wood around it had become worn. So I slid the lock, but it wasn't really secure.
It wasn't catching.
And it wasn't catching, but the door was closed. So another lady came in, and there were only 2 stalls in there, and there was somebody else in the other stall. And she didn't realize that I was in there, and she opened the door while I was going to the bathroom. This is so sexy. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And I'm like, no, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So anyway, I finished up what I was doing, and by this time, the other stall was free, and she went in there. So we ended up washing our hands at about the same time, and she was just mortified. She's like, "I cannot believe I did that. I'm so sorry." I'm like, seriously, we're here in New Orleans
that's right.
for a swinger convention, and we're probably going to see each other naked in the playrooms before the week is over. It's not that big of a deal. And she's like, "Hey, yeah, you're right."
Yeah, you do get a new perspective on things. Yeah.
So that was the bar takeover.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we had one more responsibility.
Yeah, we had one more responsibility that day. There was a meet and greet where a bunch of the presenters for the conference had to gather down at 6:00, and that wasn't really that well attended, and we had more important things to do because we were going to dinner with TNA from the Curious Couple podcast.
That's right. We wanted to get out of there.
And where did we go?
We went to the Redfish Grill.
Yes, the Redfish Grill,
which is right across the street.
Yeah.
Very nice restaurant.
Yeah, and Tia and I talked about podcasting pretty much.
It was so nerdy.
Half the conversation was about podcasting.
These 2 gorgeous guys are sitting there talking about all kinds of nerdy stuff and newsletters and websites and downloads. And it's like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Let's talk about sexy stuff.
I know. Shame on me because I've been waiting a long time to meet A.
I know. You're sitting there looking at this, and T and A are very, very attractive, both of them.
Yes, they are.
So here we are talking about nerdy stuff, and we're with this gorgeous couple.
But yes, they are very attractive.
But they're also very smart and intelligent.
They're the type of people that
warm and friendly.
We're the type of people we could be friends.
Yes.
If they lived closer, we would be friends.
Yes.
They're just easy to talk to. We have a lot in common. We think a lot along the same lines about a lot of things. So it's too bad they're so far away.
I know.
But if I didn't say it before, we're planning something. We're going to collaborate together.
Stay tuned, listeners.
In the future. So we enjoyed dinner with them that night, and we decided that we wanted to go to Colette because as a part of your conference fees, you can either go to Colette for free on Wednesday night
or Thursday
night.
Right. You can go on Friday or Saturday, but you have to pay a fee.
Right. So we went on Thursday night, and we ran into our friends from the West Coast that we had breakfast with the day before. And then there were some other friends that we had there
from Miami. Our friends from Miami, the Do You Know George party that we went to.
Yes, they were there.
Yep.
And then I ran into John and Jackie, the owners of Colette.
Right.
And I started talking to them, and you were out on the dance floor. And every time I walked by, you were dancing with some other couple. You were bouncing around.
When we first walked in, I don't want to forget, we ran into a couple of our listeners. I think they were from North Carolina. Remember, we talked to them for a long time. They were in that sofa right when you walked in the door.
Yeah.
We talked to them for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
right.
That was kind of fun. He and I were in the same profession.
No, they were from Georgia.
They were from Georgia.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. We just had a lot in common with them.
Yeah. We saw them a couple times throughout the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a long conversation.
Sweet.
We're going to have to go to Trapeze in Georgia.
Yes.
So many people
Yeah,
have
I think they
invited
said they
us.
would show us the ropes.
Yeah. So that's on our list. But yeah, it was great talking to them. And, we were dancing with different couples. And then,
then you were talking to John and Jackie.
And then I went to get a drink, or I went to the bathroom, and I came back, and you were dancing with 2 other of our listeners that we met at the meet and greet. And the 4 of us started dancing together.
Right.
And we had just met them.
And I couldn't remember their names. They had come to one of our sessions. We had met them at our meet and greet. And then they had come to at least one of our sessions. And I remember him sharing during one of the sessions. And I really liked what he had to say. And so then I saw him on the dance floor. And they're a really, really attractive couple. And he, when you...
Did we say we have a lot of attractive listeners?
Maybe.
Yeah.
We should say it again.
Okay.
We have a lot of attractive listeners. So anyway, when I saw him on the dance floor, I could not remember their names to save my life. And his lanyard was backwards because you have to wear a lanyard if you are going to any of the conference sponsored events or whatever. So you have this dorky purple lanyard on, but we all have them on, so whatever. But his was backwards and their names weren't showing. So I was like, well, what the heck, now or never. So I danced my way over to him and I flipped his lanyard around and I said, I can't remember your names to save my life. So then anyway, I started talking to them while Mr. Jones was
good move
in the restroom.
Yeah, you did the old I forgot your name routine.
I know, worked like a charm.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I came back and you were dancing with both of them. So I started dancing with you. And she had a blue dress on. And
it was stunning.
Yeah, it was. And it framed her cleavage.
Yeah, that dress was made for her.
It forced you to look at her cleavage.
Yeah. Well, and she was a tall girl and I'm not tall. So that's what I was looking at.
Yeah, right.
It was very convenient for me.
And the 4 of us were dancing and then somebody got on the pole. Somebody got on the pole and danced and she and I turned around and watched that. And she and I just started connecting on the dance floor.
Yeah, he and I did too.
I had a lot of fun dancing with her and we started to get hot and bothered and sweaty and we chatted a little bit more. And then we did something that we don't usually do.
This was a first for us, totally.
Yeah, because we had met them the day before maybe and talked with them briefly.
Yeah, and I don't really remember exactly how this played out.
Yeah.
But somehow...
I know how it ended.
Well, I know how it ended too. But somehow we went from dancing, and I think I was probably kissing him on the dance floor.
Oh, yeah. Well, she and I were kissing too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then the next thing I know is the 4 of us were like, let's go find a playroom.
Yes. And we went upstairs and Colette, but it was wall-to-wall people.
Yeah.
And the only bed that we found had a big old wet spot in the middle.
Well, it had been used, and the lady working that floor hadn't had a chance to come over. And
they took the sheet off, but they hadn't put a new sheet back on.
Yeah, so, and it was really crowded. So anyway, we said, well, we could go back to the hotel.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. And on the way back to the hotel, we realized that it was late and the playrooms were probably not only going to be crowded. Well, first of all, we had to gone back to our rooms and changed because you can't wear street clothes on the playroom floor. And then we would have had to have, connected back up with them. And we would not have had a lot of time in the playroom. So
if we found a bed.
Yeah, if we even found a bed. So we were like, do you want to come to our room?
Yes.
So they said yes.
And then that night we did play the dumb card game.
We did play the card game.
Yeah.
Worked like a champ.
Yeah. And in the card game, this card game's not so dumb.
Hey, did y'all hear that? That was a moment.
Because it comes in handy the next night too. But anyway, because during the card game, she drew a card and she had to say what one of her favorite position was.
Oh, right.
And she said doggy style. And I was like, ding, 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 ding. Because that's my favorite position.
How convenient.
Yeah. So after that, I kind of forgot how the rest of the game went. But we ended up, doing a lot of hot and heavy stuff during the game when we got to the action cards.
Yes.
And then we had a conversation with them. And it was funny because we said, well, I guess we better have a conversation. And she said, well, of course, it's the Joneses. You have to do things by the book. Right. I'm like, well, we did a seminar. I can't just break the rules. No. I don't have any credibility.
And they came to the seminar, so.
Yeah. Like if I throw the rule book out the window, then you're not going to believe anything I have to say. So what they gave us the perfect answer, and that was they're situational, period. And that's what we are.
That's right.
So we decided to start soft and then see how it went and decide during.
And it went smashingly. So the situation changed for the better.
It did.
Yeah.
It did. I'll tell you, she was really good at what she did.
Oh, so was he.
Yeah. And we did some back and forth oral, and she gave me, and she was really, I liked her because she was very decisive. I had gone down on her and she had gone down on me. And then she said, okay, get up and sit here on the end of the bed. And then she got down on her hands and knees. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting things out of order. So we did I went down on her. She went down on me. I don't know what the hell was going on your side of the bed because I wasn't paying much of attention. But we got to a certain point and I said, I really want to fuck. And so I think she popped up and said, are you guys okay with that? And we got the head nod from your side of the bed.
Oh, yeah. I think I was quick to chime in and say, yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. And then so we got the condoms and we went to full swap. And it was one of those times where we were very in tune with each other. And I'd never been with her before. But there were a couple of things that I did that she responded to, and then I kept coming back to that, and we had a really good time, and we went for a long time, and you guys did too.
Yeah.
What was going on your side?
He went down on me for a long time, and then I went down on him, and I think we started out missionary, and then I can't remember. I think we went like doggy style. I get sex brain. I'm not very good at remembering stuff.
I remember that you stopped the action because you started one of your earthquake orgasms.
I know.
And we had to stop and look over at you while you had that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we stopped. We took a break, and I wasn't finished, and I don't think he was finished. And so we took a break and had some water and chatted for a few minutes. And then when we went to start back up again, she said, I want you to sit on the edge of the bed. And she got down on her knees and she started giving me a blowjob on the floor. And then she started giving me a hand job. And I said, after a while, I said, I think I'm getting close. And she said, well, that's good because I want you to come on my tits. And that was the end. When she said that, it didn't take much longer and that's what I did. And holy cow.
Yeah, they were fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yes. What a solid couple. Yeah. We had so much fun. That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be. And they're from the Midwest. So they're our Midwest couple.
Yeah. Everybody lives so far apart. That's a sad thing.
I know.
I'm going to see everybody for a year.
I know. But back to our conversation about we had never really hooked up with somebody that quickly before. It was a success.
It was a success because, we had a lot in common with them. As far as like life situation, our kids were, grown. Their kids were grown. Just very solid, comfortable relationship, and just kind of trying to figure out what kind of trouble
Yeah.
they can get into to make it better.
And I instantly felt comfortable with him too.
Yeah.
A very respectful guy.
Yes.
Very, I didn't have to worry at all. I knew that he was going to treat you the right way.
Yeah.
I just had that feeling. So day 2, cha-ching.
I know. Just a gorgeous, happy couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. So that was, I'm losing track of time. That was Friday.
That was Thursday.
That was Thursday. Oh, smokes. We hadn't even got to Friday yet.
No.
That was Thursday.
Yep. So Friday was tough because we had the podcast roundtable at 10 freaking o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
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 So I think we got up at 8:30. I set the alarm for 8:30.
Is that when we ran? Oh, no. You know what happened that day?
Oh, we had a savior that day.
Yes, we did. D from C&D and Swinging Down Under texted us and said he was going out for coffee. And he asked us if we wanted him to bring us some coffee. So thank you very much, D. We owe you one.
Yes. And he even put extra cream in my coffee for me.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
So we didn't have to go out for coffee. We just went right to the podcasters meet and greet, and he came in with our coffee.
Yep.
Nice.
Yes.
And so last year when we did this podcaster panel, we had about 4 or 5 people show up.
I think there were 3 couples.
Mm-hmm.
The one couple came right away, and then the other 2 couples straggled in.
Yeah.
But this year
we had almost another full house.
Yeah.
At 10 o'clock in the morning.
And that was a big room.
And we had it was almost like a whole different set of podcasters this year. Last year, there was John and Allie, and there were the Swap Foos.
And the Tangos.
Paige and Penn.
Yep.
And us and Jay and Angie.
And Blissbringers. Yeah.
So this year, it was the only 2 podcasts that were represented from the year before were Jay and Angie, Average Swingers, and us.
Right.
And so it was Al and Ellie from the Aussie Swingers and C&D. Well, they really cheated. They sat in the front row. They should have been sitting on the panel.
Right.
But they were there. And
J and
K
from that couple next door.
Yes.
T and A from Curious Couple.
Yes.
I got to sit next to T.
Yeah. No wonder you didn't say much.
I know. Maybe I was distracted.
Yeah, you were definitely distracted. Well, I was sitting next to Ellie.
Oh, yeah, you had the same problem.
Yes, I did. Anyway. Whew.
So, yeah. It was, did we say everybody? So Al and Ellie
I think so.
from Aussie Swingers and
Jay
and Angie. Yeah.
Yep. Good turnout. We had talked about podcasting and answered questions for everybody. And again,
Jay was in charge.
Yeah, Jay.
He did a good job.
He did a good job moderating.
We needed that kind of personality at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
To get everybody up and thinking.
And he hadn't been feeling very good the day before, so he was just starting to get his mojo back.
Yep.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. And then after that, we all went back to Cafe Beignet for brunch.
Oh, that's right.
And that's when we got to spend some quality time with Al and Ellie.
Yes, we sat at the same table as them, and what a great couple.
And I'll tell you what, they are genuine. They are international podcast ambassadors.
Yes, they are.
And lifestyle ambassadors.
Yes.
That's what I meant to say, lifestyle ambassadors. They're both so respectful. They're both gorgeous. They
have those accents. Oh,
yeah. Yeah. Just they're very supportive of all the podcasting, very supportive of the lifestyle, very, just a very solid couple. And we just had a great time, talking to them and getting to know them.
Yep.
So that was a lot of fun. Then I think we went back and took a nap.
Yes, we did. We literally went to bed.
Because we knew we were going to be going to the beach to take over the party. And that's what we got up and went to the beach, the bar, which is a bar on Bourbon Street.
Yeah, they do a foam party there, and they have a huge dance floor in the back. It's kind of a covered, open building, but it's covered in the back. And there's upstairs balconies on each side of that room. And it's like air conditioned up there. Even though it's outside, they're blowing cold air up there. So after like an hour of sweating down on the main floor, and it was so crowded, we managed to work our way up there. Well, we ran into the couple that we spent time with. Yeah, our Midwest friends from the night before. Hung out with them for a while. And they wanted to meet some friends that we have that live in the same state they live in.
Yeah.
So we were like, I think they're up on that balcony. So we managed to fish our way up there so that we could make sure that they met each other. And they live on opposite sides of the state, but yeah, it's still fairly close.
Yeah.
So we ran into them and hung out there and watched the show. They were doing like dance contests and all kinds of silly stuff.
Yeah. And then we went back and we had a dinner date with some people that we met from the West Coast.
Yes.
So we had West Coast friends that invited us out to dinner.
Right. We met them at our meet and greet and I talked to them throughout the weekend and they had a really, really interesting story to share.
Yes, they did.
And that was one of those stories where you couldn't just stand around with, a million other people talking and get the whole story. So we were like, well, we need to sit down at dinner with y'all. So we managed to make that happen.
Yeah.
So we wanted to hear their story, right, honey? It just so happened that they were ridiculously gorgeous.
Yes.
That was just a convenient, after sight or whatever.
She's very beautiful.
Yes, and he's very handsome.
Yeah. We were certainly fortunate. I don't know what we did to deserve that, but but anyway, we had a great dinner with them. We had a great conversation with them. Then that evening was the Lifestyle Awards ceremony.
Right. So we had to do dinner early and we had to get back and go to that award ceremony.
Yeah. So we went to the award ceremony and we already talked about that. So I won't get into that again, but it was a lot of fun for us. I was going to blow it off this year, but then we were finalists. So we ended up going, but anyway,
that night was kind of splintered because there was a lot going on that night. They had like a big hypnotist show that some people went to, and then they had a couple different dance parties upstairs. I think that was blackout night.
Yeah.
So I think a couple different parties upstairs, and you and I were kind of hanging out in the two different ballrooms where the dancing was going on most of the night.
So the couple we went to dinner with that we really wanted to hook up with later, we got separated from. They went to one show and we went upstairs, and that's where we ran into the Swap Foos.
Yeah, we ran into the Swap Foos.
Yeah, and talked to them for a while, and Mrs. Swap Foo was a little overserved.
And she was the first to say so.
Yeah, she was. And we met them 2 years ago. And again, they were our first podcast that we ever listened to.
Yes.
So they're right up there. We're big fans of their show. And we were so happy to learn that they're starting to podcast again.
Yeah.
And they've changed the format of their show. And they just released their first new episode. And he just tweeted out today that he's got content for the second one.
Oh, good.
So they have the voices and her laugh and the chemistry that they have. They have
sense of humor. Oh
really
my gosh,
great podcast.
they're funny.
But anyway, this is for you, Foo Girl, and that is cheers, goddammit. That's what she said when she saw me. She said, cheers, goddammit. I said, well, I'm going to podcast that out for you. If we can't make that the title, I'm going to give that. So she was going to hold me to that. And then about that time, this girl comes walking by and she's got one of these, like, I don't know if it was a raccoon tail or a squirrel tail.
It was like a foxtail,
Foxtail, and it was a butt plug. And she's walking around.
It was like 12 inches long, like the tail, the furry. Yeah. It was a super thick, like a 2-inch diameter furry foxtail, but it was a butt plug.
Yeah, so she walks by and Mrs. Swap Foo Girl goes, I'm going after her. And Mr. Swap Foo was going, oh Lord, don't do that. Don't. And I thought she was going to go yank it out of her butt. But she didn't. She just petted it and started talking to the girl about it.
Yeah, I think she was asking the girl about how, what the butt plug actually was like and everything. And she was like just stroking it. Yeah. She might have given it a little tug.
Yeah. But that was a real treat being able to talk to them because they're like, we're starstruck when we see them because we've listened to them for so long.
Yeah.
And then fortunately, we did hook back up with our West Coast friends that we had dinner with.
Right.
And again, we didn't feel like we had enough time to go to the playroom because it had gotten really late.
It was late at that point. I think it was already almost 2:00.
Yeah. So we went back to the bedroom and played the dumb card game.
Yes, we did. Aren't you glad I packed it?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'll get into some of it later, but I don't know how to describe her. She's intelligent. She's beautiful. She's very outgoing. And she's really passionate.
Mm-hmm.
And when she
knows what she wants.
Yeah, and when she kisses you, she's into it. And everything else that she does, she's into it. And we had a great time.
Yes.
And again, we talked with them and we decided that we would just start soft, right? And see how it went.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was in a porn movie in a good way.
Yeah.
In a good way. What was going on your side?
He was just really, he went down on me and he was just really, 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 really good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good?
Yeah. Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
It, sometimes like when, I don't know, it takes me a long time to get started sometimes, but I think I was just so, and we were looking forward to being with them. So I think I was already kind of, in the right gear.
Amped up.
So to speak, to begin with. But yeah, it didn't take long for me to feel pretty good about things.
Yeah. Yeah. And I went down on her and he had given me a hint as to where her secret spot was. And so I made sure I paid attention to that and it definitely worked. She was very responsive. She was very good at indicating through body language what she liked. And she would position herself. And I liked that. And she's very, very comfortable, very confident. And man, and then when she went down on me and she was really going to town and just having a good time and very sexy. I just liked watching her.
Yeah.
I was surprised I lasted through that. And we took a little bit of a break. And I think it was me again that suggested condoms. And we looked over at you all and you gave us the thumbs up.
Ooh, yeah.
And then what she did, I've never had this happen before. I don't know if you've seen this before, but you gave her one of your little vibrators.
Right.
And she laid face down on the bed and she held the vibrator on her clit. And she had one knee like cocked up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did her from behind. So she was laying flat on the bed. And I put one of my hands in the small of her back. And then my right hand was on the small of her back. And my left hand was like over her shoulder. And that's when I went for a while, but I was done at that point in time. It was sexy. It was so hot. And she was being very verbal.
Yeah.
About it. And then there was some crazy stuff going on your side.
I know. Well, he was doing me doggy style and he's in really good shape because he did it for a long time. And he was like doing it hard and that was a good thing. I liked it.
Yeah.
And it was fun. We were kind of almost like trying to outdo each other or whatever. It was pretty intense for a long time. It wasn't just a few seconds.
And when he was doing that, that's the first time that, because I had just finished, and I remember saying, I said something like, man, just fuck my wife hard. I've never said anything like that before. And I think that helped him.
Yeah.
And then she was getting into it. She was watching too, and he was pounding you pretty hard.
No, it felt really good. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun because it lasted. I mean, it did, because sometimes we'll do that and then, one of us will get tired and then you switch positions or whatever. But this went on for a long time.
She was cheering him on too.
Well, and she was so verbal. I mean, she was like turning both of us on because, we were both watching you guys while we were playing. I mean, we didn't really stop what we were doing really. We might have paused here or there, but you all were just serving as, extra, stimulation for us because there was a lot of really verbal sexiness.
Right.
going on the bed next to us.
You, Mrs. Jones, you looked awesome that night.
Well, thank you.
You did.
Yeah. So then, are you going to go ahead and say it?
No, you say it.
Oh, well.
No, because I don't want you to accuse me of saying something. I didn't want you to talk about that, so I'm going to let you say it.
So
I knew it was coming. I could tell.
You could tell during the time?
Yeah.
Or,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
Yeah, I guess I probably suspected it, but it doesn't happen very often when we play with other people. Usually I try to, I don't know, for whatever reason, I avoid it with other people. It happens with you and I kind of often, but I don't know. So anyway, after he and I finished doggy style and he was finished, then I think he started playing with me with his fingers, right?
As in his words, your amazing ass was sticking up in the air.
Yeah, I think when he finished, I just like stayed there on my knees and elbows because I was in such heaven. I just didn't want to move.
You were like downward dog in yoga.
Yeah, I was. So he used his fingers and was playing with me, and then I ended up like squirting all over the bed, all over him in the bed. Yeah.
But he took that as a badge of honor because he had never made a woman do that before.
Well, after what he had just done to me, I think everything had been rubbed just right. It was there. He didn't really have to try.
Yeah.
It was ready to go. So
That was hot.
Eesh,
I'm getting a little uncomfortable just thinking about it.
Oh, they were so much fun.
I know.
And I think that night lasted till about 3:45.
Yes, it was 3:30 or 3:45.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah, we're getting too old for this shit.
Supposedly, but I think we were hanging pretty tough.
I know we were. That was great. So I know.
And that was only Friday.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yes.
And you know we're talking to you.
Until next time.
Yeah, I know. But again, the West Coast.
Well, honey, we might have some pokers in the fire here to, for people to stay tuned for, right?
We should move.
Yeah.
We need a house in Austin, in Los Angeles, in Chicago, and here in DC.
One of us needs a different job.
We could just rotate.
Yeah, one of us needs a different job.
Yeah, that would be you.
Yeah, probably me.
Yeah. All right, let's turn the page and go to Saturday.
Okay, last day.
The finish line was in sight. Saturday is the big day.
Yeah, I think we drag our asses out of bed at like 9:45.
And we got out so late that we didn't want to wait for breakfast, so we just went across the street to Starbucks.
Well, we walked down to the Ruby Slipper and there was an hour and a half wait.
Yeah, hour and a half.
Yeah.
Well, we could have walked a couple blocks down, but we just decided to get coffee because it was so late, and then we figured we would just get a lunch in a little while. So we went across the street and we ran into our Midwest friends.
Yes.
We kept bumping into.
Yeah.
So it was good to catch up with them. And then we went back to the hotel and we went to the lobby bar, and I said, you know what? We need to start writing this stuff down because we're going to forget the order of events.
Yep.
And as soon as we started writing stuff down, a couple that we met at the Miami George event recognized us and came over. And so I put the notebook away because she's really hot. And she brought her husband over and we talked to them for a while. And then we had come off the elevator and we ran into another couple that we met.
That was the night before.
Yeah, but we didn't even know they were going to be there.
Right.
And we met them at the George event. So anyway, the four of them invited us to dinner that night.
Yeah.
So we made dinner plans for later in the evening with them. But we went to, after we chatted with them in the lobby bar for a while, we went to a 2 p.m. session. And we did not have to work this one. We sat in the crowd.
Right.
But this was about gaining consent. And it was Michael and Holly and Jay and Angie.
And John and Jackie.
John and Jackie.
From Colette.
Yes.
And then Heather and Jason, who... iOS Connections.
Yeah. They were the facilitators,
yes.
The moderators. And that was a good session too. So that lasted about an hour. And then we went to, instead of going to the Miss No Bikini contest, which we did last year, we went over to the swamp.
The swamp, yeah.
And we ran into a bunch of people there. We ran into.
Well, we walked down there with Jay and Angie.
Oh, we got pizza.
And we stopped and got pizza.
Yeah.
Which was really smart. Pizza absorbs beer really well.
Yeah. Needed to get the stomach lined with that grease.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we went to the swamp.
Hung out.
And we ran into the couple from St. Louis.
Yeah.
And we also saw...
We saw some good friends of ours that
yes.
we met 2 years ago.
Yes.
That live close to us.
Just
that we see fairly often.
Just happened to be his birthday.
Oh, yeah. And I got to give him a birthday kiss.
I mean, how lucky can you be to be at Naught in New Orleans on your birthday?
I
would have worn a shirt or something that said today's my birthday.
Yep.
And then I would have gotten all the attention. But
yep.
Yeah, we ran into them. Who else was? I think Al and Ellie were there, and
our West Coast friends were there.
Yeah, our West Coast friends were there. That's right.
And we ran into lots of people there. That was fun.
Yeah, so we had some beer there.
Oh, and Baby Doll and the Law were there.
Oh, yeah,
and she rode the bull.
Yeah, and she's like an Olympic bull rider or something.
I know.
And she is what is she, about 5 feet tall?
She is one of the tiniest people I've ever seen.
And she's
she's tiny, but her figure is absolutely perfect.
Well, and she's just a happy person.
And she's beautiful, but she's just very unassuming.
Yeah. So she gets
great sense of humor.
She gets on this bull and she's posing like a model. You know, she's got one hand up in the air.
She's got this long curly brown hair, and it's like swinging around, and she's just like laughing like it's no big
this
deal.
Bull isn't anything. And they turned it all the way up, and she was just riding it and posing for pictures like she was some sort of a pro.
I think she was.
Yeah.
And then her dismount was even graceful.
Yeah, when she fell off when she wanted to fall off.
Yeah, she didn't get slung off of it. She just
chose to fall off. She says, "I'm done with this. It's getting boring." And she jumped off. Yeah, that was entertaining.
That was very entertaining.
Yeah. Then we went across the Razoo, and we ran into the two couples that we were going to dinner with.
Right.
But then we also caught up with TNA.
Yep.
And then... our St. Louis friends came over.
Right.
Ended up just hanging around there and had some more beer. Did we go back and take a nap?
No.
No, we didn't.
We powered through on Saturday.
Yeah, because we slept in so late.
Yep.
Yeah, so then we went back and got ready for dinner, and we went to the Palace
Cafe. It's on Canal Street.
Yeah, right on Canal.
It was really a nice place.
Yeah.
That turtle soup was amazing.
Yeah. We had turtle soup.
Yeah, one of the gentlemen ordered a bowl of turtle soup for the table. We just kept passing the bowl around, and everybody take a couple spoonfuls and pass it around.
And we haven't even talked about the food. I mean, I had oysters in the half shell twice.
Yep.
And I had drumfish one night. I had shrimp Creole one night.
I had gumbo.
Yeah.
A couple different times.
Because we ended up with Jay and Angie and C and D from Swinging Down Under,
right,
and the couple from St. Louis, and with Jay and Kay from that couple next door.
And our New Orleans friends.
Yes, and our New Orleans friends.
Yes.
That's right. So we all just started hanging out.
We were just all talking and laughing.
Yeah.
I mean, D from Swinging Down Under is so funny.
Yes, he is.
Funny.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think I told him on Saturday night that I had a crush on him.
Well, it was obvious.
Was it?
Yes.
Sometimes I'm not very... it's late and I've been drinking. Maybe I'm not as subtle as I could be.
Yeah. The Australian accent.
I know. Well, I had a crush on him to begin with, especially remember the episode where they read the story,
yes,
and it was for me to make my panties wet. And
yes.
Yes. Well, then I got it in person, and then I got to see his like gorgeous face, and his personality really, comes out when you're talking to him face to face. So
yeah.
I think I actually whispered in his ear that I had a bit of a crush on him.
Yeah. Yeah. So all of us we were just hanging out, chatting, have a good time,
laughing,
drinking. And about that time, like everybody started getting really tired and losing energy.
Yeah.
So the 8 or 10 of us, we just stood around up there.
And who I really got to talk to that night was the St. Louis couple.
Yeah.
I wish we had more time to talk to them before. It was the last night,
I know.
And they were actually headed to bed because they drove.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So hopefully they'll come back next year and we'll get a chance to spend more time with them because they were awesome.
Yeah, they were awesome. So we ended it more on a fun,
hilarious,
social
yes,
time, and we were happy. We were happy with that. We couldn't have asked for a better ending. I believe that, one of the best things about this country, and there's some good things and bad things, is the diversity.
Right.
And when there's 2,000 people together, you get the diversity of the lifestyle.
Right. It's a cross-section of society.
It's a cross-section of society. And there's a lot that goes on there. And there's a lot of different styles. There's sexual swingers. There's social swingers like us. There's old, there's young, there's newbies, there's experienced. And there's a lot going on. And if you're new and if you've never been there before, it can be overwhelming.
It can be.
Because there's some crazy stuff that goes on. And the danger is that you can look at people and start to judge them and say, well, that's not how swinging is, or that's not how I go. But really, what we've learned now that this is our third year is they're just having fun. Everybody's having fun.
It's a place where you can go and let your hair down.
Yeah. No matter what your hair is, what your style is, you can just be it.
I mean, every socioeconomic level is represented. It's just everybody there letting their inhibitions run free.
Right. So you're going to see some things that are a little bit scary.
I mean, I saw some stuff that,
yeah.
Honestly, I saw some stuff that I found somewhat off-putting.
Yes.
It's not my style.
Right.
I think there's a time and a place for everything, even at a swinger convention.
Yes.
So yeah, I didn't, but you know what? I turned my back on it.
Yeah.
Instead of letting it like freak me out or wig me out or gross me out, I just was like, oh, well,
Yeah.
And I just turned my back.
Yeah.
And started laughing at, Jay and Dee from Swinging Down Under because, they were definitely a good distraction.
Yeah. So I guess we're running long. Let me try to sum this up. If you decide to go to Naughty in New Orleans, we still endorse the conference. We still think you'll have fun.
Right.
But if it's your first time or even your second time, it can be overwhelming. And so be intentional. Try to schedule things to surround yourself with people that you think you're going to connect with. And a great place to start would be our meet and greet.
Of course it would, honey.
Yeah. So if you look at the schedule and go to the workshops, a lot of people blow the workshops off, but
the workshops are awesome. I mean, they're workshops on everything.
Yeah.
From newbies 101 to naked speed dating, which, again, can be kind of intimidating if you're new, but if you're not, I understand it's really fun. We haven't done it.
No.
There's bondage. There's like tantric sessions. That just absolutely anything that you could possibly be interested in. I think you would have found something to learn about.
Yeah, so take advantage of those things because you're going to, not only will you learn something, but you'll meet people in a really calm, quiet, kind of environment where you can look around and chat with people.
Right. I think at our sessions we had probably like 50 to 60 people.
Yeah.
So that's a manageable crowd.
Yeah.
So after it was over, people would kind of hang around and talk.
Yeah.
So that's a good place because at the bars it's so loud. If you think my voice is raspy, I think I came home kind of hoarse because you're just talking so loud for like 4 days, just constantly talking over music to people.
Right.
So it can be hard to have conversation at the evening events where, you're in the ballroom with music or at the bar takeovers, which are ridiculously loud.
Yep.
So find that smaller venue or just, what you and I do a lot is we hang out in the lobby. Yeah. People, that's right where the elevator banks are and people are getting off the elevators. And if you sit there for 15 minutes, somebody's going to walk by that you've seen before.
Yeah.
So as far as like my list of lessons learned for this third Naughty New Orleans for us is, like we just said, we intentionally didn't stick with one couple during the week because we really wanted to meet more people this year.
Yeah.
And we did a pretty good job of that.
I'd say.
True.
Hey, high five.
Yeah. Yes. The other thing we did that was new is we hooked up a Colette. I mean, I can't believe we did that. That's not us. We're usually not that brave.
Yeah.
So I'm actually pretty proud of us for doing that. And then it turned out so smashingly.
It did. Yeah. Thanks to our Midwest friends.
I know.
Yeah.
All because his lanyard was backwards and I couldn't remember his name.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Huh. Well, that and then that, like you said, that keyhole in her blue dress. Yeah. I just couldn't. Yeah. It was magnetic.
Yeah.
So we hooked up at a club, and then we didn't play in the playrooms all week.
No.
We took a tour one night. That the night they first opened, what was that, like Thursday night? Like an hour before they open, they'll let you walk around so you can see the different like themes of the rooms. And we did that, but then we never ended up going back to play because by the time we would play, it would be too late, or I don't know.
Well, we had a nice room, and we had a nice big room, so it was really comfortable.
Yeah, our room was at the end of the hallway, kind of like on the corner of the building, and it was
near the pool.
Yeah, it was bigger than a typical room, so that worked out well. And then Saturday night, I mean, we kind of had a couple different scenarios on our radar, but we were, I don't know, I think our ADD kicked in or something. We had like too many pokers in the fire that night. And there was too much going on. So we would talk to one couple, and then
we didn't mention the couple from Kentucky.
Yes.
Yeah. So we talked to a couple from Kentucky.
Yeah, they were on our radar.
Yes, they were definitely on our radar. Right.
But I think they had already made other arrangements or potential arrangements or whatever.
Yes.
So
that
was the last night, so we missed that opportunity.
Yeah, that happened a lot that night. Just we came close to making a connection and then we didn't. But ultimately, we ended up where we needed to be.
I know. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it was better than sex, but yeah, I almost say it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's always room for growth.
Yes. So hopefully we'll see you next year.
Yes.
We're going to have to get a different venue for our meet and greet.
I think so, because I think we had filled up that room.
Yeah.
But they had other venues there at the House of Blues. I don't know if we'll have it there again next year, but they were very easy to work with, and it was just fairly effortless for us.
Okay. Well, now we don't have anything to do for another month when we go to Desire.
That's right.
Yes. Okay. Well, that sums up. Anything else?
That was plenty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a hard-hitting, crazy, fun, meaningful weekend.
Hot days and naughty nights, Mr. Jones.
Yes. Woo-hoo. Man, that was nice. Okay. We'll be right back with Snapshots.
Okay, well, it's time for some snapshots.
Yep. You go first.
Okay, I'll go first. So we were playing with our friends.
Which one? Our West Coast friends. Yeah.
And it was after we'd finished and you all had done like your crazy like porn star crazy sex over there.
And he had made you squirt.
And he had made me squirt after he had like banged the heck out of me, which was so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
So then we were all just kind of like collapsed on the bed or whatever. And I think he went into the bathroom to kind of clean up and freshen up and everything. And when I had just like, my butt wasn't up in the air anymore. I think
I can tell you exactly where you were laying.
Okay.
You were laying across the bed and you had propped yourself up on your elbow and you had one knee up.
Oh, okay.
In the
so
air.
you remember this, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't remember exactly how I was laying.
Yeah, you were freshly fucked.
Yeah, I was. I was feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
At 3:45 in the morning.
Yeah.
So anyway, he comes out of the bathroom and I'm laying there on the bed, on my back with my elbow propped up, and he says, "Wow, you have a 6-pack."
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, gosh, he noticed I have a six pack. I mean, that really kind of was super flattering for me.
Yeah.
You know, I guess, you know, I work hard and I do a lot of planks, obviously. And Mr. Jones, you could probably do a couple more planks, you know.
Anyway, get on with your story. Don't drag me into this. And you make me, you tick me off when we do planks together.
Why?
Well, because you're over there, you could do 2 or 3 minutes worth of planks and you were just dancing. We got music on, you're bobbing up and down, and I'm trying to make 60 seconds and I'm shaking like a leaf.
You do shake like a leaf.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Well, one time I tried to get under you and entertain you.
I know
while
that
you
doesn't
were doing
help.
the plank.
That doesn't help.
Okay. Anyway, we totally
You're the
digress.
you're the plank master.
And honey, you have an amazing body, but I'm just making fun of you because core work is not your priority.
Yeah, well, snapshots aren't so you can make fun of your husband.
Okay, I'm sorry. So back to the snapshot.
Okay.
So anyway, he said, "Wow, you have a six pack," and I guess if you're not in the lifestyle and you're listening to this and you're a lady, you're probably thinking, well, first of all, how do you have the nerve to lay naked on a bed, And I guess, after you've been freshly fucked and it's 3:45 in the morning, you don't really care at that point. But you do think about that kind of stuff that never completely goes away. And then to have this like really gorgeous, younger man, notice that I'm working hard to, maintain my muscle tone and keep my body fit. That was just super flattering.
So instead of seeing the flaws that you always see.
Right. Because actually, my tummy's like probably my Achilles heel as far as my confidence level goes, because I had a couple really big babies.
Yeah.
And yes, there are stretch marks. So, he didn't say, "Ooh, look at those stretch marks." He said, "Wow, you have a six pack." So anyway, That's my snapshot. That was really meaningful that he,
well, good.
That.
I owe him one because I tell you that all the time, but I'm just your husband.
That's right. You have to say that.
Yeah.
And honestly, you put those stretch marks there, so whatever.
Yeah, right. I don't complain about them because I don't see them either.
Oh, well, that's good.
And I know how hard you work too.
Thank you.
So my snapshot was with the same couple. And as soon as this happened, I declared that it was going to be my snapshot.
You did.
I told her, I said that this cannot be topped. I'm going on record right now to say that this will, in fact, be Mr. Jones's snapshot on the next podcast. And I have to give credit to the dumb card game because she drew the card that said, "Give the person a lap dance." And she hiked her skirt up or her dress up.
Well, it didn't have to hike very far. No.
And she sat me down on the chair. And she gave me she was better than a pro. Her hips were moving and she was grinding and she's so sexy. And she was moving her shoulders and she just had the sexy look.
Oh, it was totally turning me on.
And I said, "Am I allowed to touch the dancer?" And she said, "I expect you to touch the dancer." So then I was able to touch her. And then she turned around and faced me and she was like rubbing her pussy up against my legs and just wrapping her arms around my neck. It was the best. I can't imagine having a better lap dance than that. It was totally sexy, totally a turn on. And as soon as she was done, like, snapshot. I might be, as a matter of fact, that was so good, that might be my snapshot again next month. So thank you. Thank you very much. That was hot and that was sexy.
Yes, it was.
And damn, they're on the West Coast.
I know.
Yeah, that was quite a snapshot.
I have to find a reason to travel out there. Ugh.
So we don't have listener snapshots tonight, but maybe we should do like overall snapshots for the whole Naughty New Orleans.
The whole Naughty New Orleans experience snapshot is it's easy for me. It was Saturday night when we were all standing around outside the ballroom. And you and Angie started messing around.
Yeah.
You started grinding on her. She bent over and she had her butt right in your crotch and you were grinding on her.
I was giving it back to her.
You were giving it right back to her.
And she was trying to go low.
I know.
And I went lower than she did.
I know. And you went right down there with her.
Yeah.
She couldn't trip you up.
No. She turned around and said, "Where did you come from?"
I know. She was surprised. The suave, debonair Mr. Jones has a naughty side to him.
Yeah.
So there was that. And then
the kiss.
And then I said, because people were taking pictures and videoing.
Yeah.
And I said, don't put the cameras away yet. And I turned around and I planted a big old one right on Jay.
Yeah.
And I think that I rendered him pretty speechless.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the longest period of time that he went without talking the whole weekend.
Well, his mouth wasn't closed, but there wasn't any noise coming out of it.
Yeah. And, you know...
that was very fun. Hey, Jay's a really good kisser. Did I tell you that?
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right.
And he's got that little stud thing.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah. So thanks, Jay and Angie.
Yes.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun with you guys and all the podcasters and all the listeners and all of our old friends and all of our new friends and all of our play friends. What an awesome, awesome weekend.
Yes, it was.
So next year, Naughty in New Orleans is July 5th through the 9th. Put that on your calendars now.
Yes.
We are going to have another meet and greet, and we expect to see you all there.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else, Mrs. Jones?
I think we're probably ready for bed.
All right. So before we go, just a couple of things. We have Desire Pearl coming up.
Yeah.
And that's kind of messing up with our podcast schedule. So instead of, because we're going to be in Desire the week we normally
record and produce
a podcast. So what we're going to do, instead of doing it late, we're going to do it early. So we're going to post another podcast, episode 26, before we go to Pearl. Probably like this first week of August, first or second week of August.
Second week of August,
yeah. We'll post it that week. So anyway, look for that. We have a house party coming up at the end of the month to officially break in our swinger pad.
I know.
And
kind of nervous. I'm excited, but I'm really nervous.
I know. I think we've got about 6 or 8 couples that have said that they're going to come. That's going to be fun. So we'll be talking about that next month. And of course, we can't wait to go to Pearl, but we'll talk about that in the next.
That's right.
We still have another podcast to go.
Yep.
So, contact us. We really would appreciate the emails. Thank you for sending them. Mr. Jones at wegotathing.com. That's MRJONES at WEGOTTATHING.com. Or Mrs. Jones has her own email at mrsjones@wegotathing.com.
And you know what, Mr. Jones?
What?
I know there's a lot of swingers out there that were at Naughty New Orleans that have snapshots that they need to send to us.
Oh, that's a good point.
I mean, there's got to be some snapshots out there.
Yeah.
They can be funny snapshots. They can be sexy snapshots. They can be any kind of...
Yes.
And even if you weren't at NIN and you had something sexy happen, I mean, life did exist outside of New Orleans last week.
It did?
It did.
Yeah. Yeah, so we need some snapshots.
We do.
So I'm glad you brought that up.
We do. But if you were there, I'm sure you've got some kind of story to share.
Send us your NIN snapshot.
Yes.
Or your regular snapshot. Our website is wegotathing.com. Follow us on Twitter at wegotathing. And this past month, we got a few more iTunes reviews.
I know. So keep them coming, please.
Yes. Sexiest voice on iTunes is asking for...
Pretty, please.
Your iTunes reviews. So, is that it?
That's it.
All right. Well, we'll be back next month. Until then, we are Mr. and Mrs. Jones, and we got a thing.
What's your thing?